Sales Nation, do you get nervous about asking your customers for a warm introduction to other potential buyers? Could you use more warm introductions to turn one sale perhaps into 2, and then those 2 sales into 4, and then those 4 sales into everything you need to really crush your sales quota? Imagine if you could do less tedious cold calling and dull cold emailing and spend more time with these warm leads that your potential buyers are providing for you. Well, stay tuned to the rest of this video where I'm going to share a simple 4-step process to asking your buyers for warm leads. Most salespeople would love to have more warm leads to sell to, but many sales professionals are unwilling to ask their buyers for warm introductions to their peers. With the simple 4-step formula I'm going to share with you in a minute though, well, there should be no reason to be nervous about making this ask. Now, where salespeople usually go wrong asking for a warm introduction is the fact that, well, they don't have a logical process to making the ask. Then, because they have no structure, they ask for the introduction at the wrong time or in the wrong way, and then the salesperson gets rejected. Of course they do. And because of this rejection, they never dare ask for another introduction again. Now, trying to achieve something like this without having a process is like trying to ride a bike without assembling it first. Well, you're never going to get very far steering a seat and sitting on a brake lever. And so with that said, asking for a warm introduction is easy as long as you follow the process. So all it takes to get a warm introduction is to, number 1, frame up the conversation. So here we're going to say, how are you getting on with X product? So the product that our customer has bought and hopefully we've supported them on and they get lots of value out of using. Here we're bringing the customer into a state where they want to help us because we've solved a problem of theirs in the past with our product, service, or even us as an individual. Alternatively, if you ask for your introduction just cold, straight out of the blue, if you ask one of your potential customers for an introduction in that way, well, you've no idea what state the customer might be in. They might have just got to the office having had their wife hand over the divorce papers that morning. Now, this might put them in a bad mood. It might put them in an incredibly fantastic mood, but you don't want to leave their state, the mood that they're in, up to chance. Step 2 of the process is now leveraging the frame that we've just created. So we're going to ask, well, I'm glad you're getting value out of it. I feel like I could also help X person with Y problem. Can you make the introduction to them for me? Now, don't overthink this ask here. That's as simple as it needs to be. Don't overcomplicate it. I want you to act like you are an adult answering a question from a child. So you're not necessarily looking down to them, you're not being condescending, but you are the professional, you're the adult, you're just asking a straightforward question from one person to another. You know what's best. And of course, you're asking for something here that benefits everyone involved. Remember, if you've solved a problem for your buyer in the past, you're going to make them look good if you can solve that problem for one of their peers in the future, having been introduced to them by this buyer. The 3rd step of getting a warm introduction from a current buyer to one of their peers who might buy from you is to control the introduction. Don't leave this down to the buyer to get things done. What you're going to say is, great, I will email you a few bullet points that X, the person that you're being referred to, might be interested in. If you could then email these over with me CC'd into the email, that would be great. Again, you're not really asking a question here, you're making an assertive statement because you don't want to allow the customer to make some wishy-washy introduction on your behalf. You've got to do some of the hard work for them by drafting some bullet points, some talking points about the problem that you can solve for their peer, and then aligning all of this up in a quick, succinct email message that you are attached to. And then we have the final stage, the final 4th step of all of this. And here you can see that the screen is blank. You need to shut up. Don't speak and diffuse any tension that may have been built in the conversation so far. Let the customer that you want the referral from, let them diffuse it by saying yes and agreeing to both doing the introduction and the introduction terms as well. Remember, you're not asking a personal favor here from this individual. You're not asking them to run down the shops and pick you something up. You're exchanging business value between you, them, and then their peer as well. So there we have it. Reliably getting introductions from your customers to other potential buyers is as simple as these 4 steps: framing the conversation, leveraging that frame, controlling the introduction, and then just shutting up and waiting for the buyer to make the introduction. Now, I hope that was useful. And if it was, make sure to click subscribe and carry on watching one of the training videos on the screen right now. And I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, keep pushing forward.